And it's Kurt. I'm shooting up testosterone for HRT. And I'm a baby when I do it, and I don't like to pay attention. So, that's why I'm doing this. So I can divert my attention to talking. Anyway, so started to read Lewis Carroll's, started to read again. I already started to read it, but it got boring because it was just explaining prepositional logic. Predicate logic. Prepositional logic. There's prepositional logic, but it also had quantifiers. I don't know what quantifier. That's not what I want. Quantify logic. It's predicate logic. God damn, so I was right at the beginning. It expresses predicate logic in a grid where each thing in the predicate, each variable in the predicate is a part of the grid, and it's in binary, so you need a new part of the grid, 2 to the n for the number of predicates that you have. Or not the number of predicates, the number of things in the predicates, the variables in the predicates that you have. So the grids end up looking pretty cool, and then you can play like this logic game with it. I haven't figured out the logic game yet, but I figured out how he's doing the predicates with the grid, so I can make my own syllogisms and stuff now. I just think it's cool because I think you can figure out a way, and this I'm not sure on yet, you can figure out a way to express T truly quantified Boolean formula, which is such that each variable in a predicate has a quantifier on it. And that's in p-space. And I'm trying to figure out what to do with p-space. I haven't figured it out yet. If someone told me I proved p-space equal to p with my proof, I don't think I have done that. I tried to not do that. Then I would be extremely sad because right now I'm under the assumption that p-space is more inclusive than p-time. Like, it's greater than p-time, and that's just my intuition. So I'd be sad if my intuition were wrong. But I'd be happy if someone proved it either way. I don't think I proved p-space equal to p. I proved p equal to ph and p equal to np. And I proved n log equal to log. And you guys can scream at me about that. I don't need it as part of my p equals ph proof. In fact, I can't use that, the method that I'm using for p equals ph, because that requires a polytime methodology. So I'm actually just proving you guys incoherent is what I'm doing. As like a icing on the cake. The only reason why I'm doing it, it's not because like I really want to prove you guys wrong or anything. I have a reasoning for doing it. I want to prove NTM's equivalent to DTM's, and that's my finishing goal here. I'm of the opinion that the machine functionalists are right, and if NTM's equal to DTM's, guess what I just proved? If you agree with the machine functionalists, I just proved that we're all determined. And if we're all determined, you get a lot of things out of it. One, it just takes some of like the the pressure off, you know? Two, and this is really only for good people. For bad people, they just say, well, it's not my fault. I was just born this way. But two, it makes you feel more special because you're important in this. Oh my god, I watched I Love Huckabees last night, and I used to be obsessed with David O. Russell because he used to put Jennifer Lawrence in his films, and I was obsessed with Jennifer Lawrence. Anyway, I've never seen I Love Huckabees because Jennifer Lawrence isn't in it, and I used to only be obsessed with David O. Russell because of Jennifer Lawrence. I watched Silver Linings Playbook about 55 bajillion times. I Love Huckabees is my favorite movie, I think, in the history of the world. It is so. It literally takes essentialism and existentialism and makes them compatible within a movie, which is what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say it is both things. I really like Sartre's Existentialism is Humanism essay because what he's trying to say is that essentialism is true, but existentialism is humanism, and that's makes sense to start the moral conversation at the human level instead of the essential level because we're at the existential level. And I really liked how they had, like, in I Love Huckabees, the lady who was the existentialist, and she was like, yeah, you can live in this realm where you are pure being always, but eventually you have to go into the real world because human drama pops up. And that's the predicament that we're all in. It's so true. Because on one hand, we can remember that we're the blanket and that we're all the same and all in all is all we are. But at some point, people are going to want us to be egos, and we're going to have to go back into the land of the ego. I still have the opinion that we can just turn everyone on and then we can just always live in the blanket of safety. I think that's why, like, people like not Alan Watts, the other Allen Ginsberg were so obsessed with turning on the world because you can only live in that mindset where you're turned on and there is no other entity if other people believe the same. And I think that's why he was so obsessed with turning people on. Is why I'm obsessed with turning people on. Because I want to bring people into my blanket so I don't have to leave my blanket of safety. This really isn't going to make any sense unless you watch I Love Huckabees, which I strongly suggest you watch. That movie is the shit. I can't believe that I never watched that movie. Because like I said, I was obsessed with David O. Russell. Anyway, the guy who wrote it with David O. Russell is married to Aubrey Plaza or Aubrey Plaza. I don't know if it's a D or a B, but she's the shit too. So that makes sense why they're together. Anyway. I had to do some research about the writers because that movie is on a different plane of existence. And now I own it. I bought it on Apple Plus, so I have the weirdest movies on Apple Plus. Like, I'll buy movies. It's not really Apple Plus at that point. It's just Apple. But I buy it on Apple Plus on my PlayStation. Yeah, but I'm still writing my paper. I really don't think I'm going to be done until next 420, to be honest. But I still want to release on a 420, so I've just given myself a year extension without any input because I was the one who set my own deadline. If I don't set my own deadlines, it's never going to get done. That's what I have to do at work. No one sets deadlines for me. So I set my own deadlines. Just kidding. People have started to set deadlines for me. I'm not about it. You know why I'm not about it? It's not that I can't get the work done in that amount of time. It's that in that amount of time, people give me 20 other tasks to do that need to happen by the time that that's due too. So then I have 20 tasks on top of that. But no one knows that because I don't tell people and I just do things because I'm nice. And this is why I deserve everything that I get at work. Bam, bam. Do you think we can turn on the world? I think we can. So we can all dance. Like in the Vedas. Dance is one. I think it's in the Vedas. I've never actually read it. Alan Watts did and told me. That's called reusing time. So I wrote